Hello everyone, and welcome to Strategic Management of Multinational Corporations, Lecture Note 3, Environment and Industry Analysis, based on the academic courseware by Professor Shihmin Lo. How do external environments shape corporate destiny? As legendary investor Warren Buffett observed, when a management with a reputation for brilliance tackles a business with a reputation for poor fundamental economics, it is the reputation of the business that remains intact. Over the next 10 to 12 minutes, we will systematically examine how industry structures dictate profitability. We will transition from macro PESTEL scanning to industry boundaries, master the industrial organization structure conduct performance paradigm, dissect Michael Porter's 5 forces framework, evaluate entry and exit barriers, explore architectural advantage and bottleneck control, and learn how to identify dual-axis key success factors. Let's begin our journey into external strategic analysis. A firm's external environment encompasses countless influences. The PESTEL framework scans macro forces across 6 dimensions: political, economic, social, technological, ecological, and legal. However, macro trends only affect corporate performance when they alter the firm's immediate industry environment. As Professor Robert Grant emphasizes, to generate economic profit, a firm must create value for customers, manage supplier relationships, and comprehend competitive dynamics. These 3 core relationships define the industry environment. Defining industry boundaries is the critical first step. Economists define an industry as a group of firms supplying a market. Boundaries are established using 2 criteria: demand-side substitutability, whether buyers switch between products based on price and performance, and supply-side substitutability, whether producers can rapidly convert existing technology and facilities to offer alternative products. The theoretical foundation of industry analysis rests on industrial organization economics and the structure conduct performance, or SCP, paradigm. The SCP paradigm asserts that underlying industry structure dictates firm conduct, which ultimately determines industry profitability performance. Industry structures span a continuum from perfect competition, with countless price-taking firms and zero economic profit, to monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly. To quantify market power, strategists analyze concentration ratios. CR4 measures the combined market share of the top 4 firms, while the Herfindahl-Hirschman Index, or HHI, sums the squared market shares of all competitors. Antitrust regulators view an HHI above 2,500 as a highly concentrated market. Furthermore, the Lerner Index measures pricing power by calculating the markup of price over marginal cost. Michael Porter operationalized the SCP paradigm into his celebrated 5 forces framework, which determines long-term industry profitability. 3 horizontal forces set price ceilings: the threat of substitutes, the threat of entry, and the intensity of industry rivalry. Substitutes limit pricing power whenever alternative technologies offer attractive price-performance ratios. 2 vertical forces govern value distribution along the supply chain: buyer bargaining power and supplier bargaining power. When buyers are highly concentrated, face low switching costs, or threaten backward vertical integration, they squeeze industry margins. The combined interaction of these 5 structural forces determines whether an industry earns attractive returns on invested capital. Entry barriers are structural hurdles that shield incumbent firms from prospective competitors, preserving economic profit. Grant identifies 7 major barrier sources: capital requirements, economies of scale, absolute cost advantages, product differentiation, distribution channel access, government regulations, and expected retaliation. According to contestable markets theory, even a concentrated oligopoly behaves competitively if sunk costs are zero, because potential entrants can execute hit-and-run tactics. Therefore, unrecoverable sunk capital investments form the ultimate moat defending incumbents against prospective entry. While entry barriers protect profits, Exit barriers prolong industry agony. When assets are highly specialized, or severance and legal costs are prohibitive, excess capacity cannot leave a declining industry, triggering destructive price wars. Industry rivalry is further exacerbated by cost structures. In capital-intensive sectors like commercial aviation or semiconductor foundries, fixed costs represent a huge proportion of total expenses. Because marginal costs are low, firms aggressively cut prices to fill capacity, driving industry-wide return on equity down. Historically, the U.S. airline industry suffered negative aggregate ROE due to this lethal combination of high fixed costs and low exit barriers. Strategic analysis must look beyond past financial statements to forecast future profitability. Predicting industry returns involves 3 logical steps. First, understand how current structure causes present competition. Second, identify structural trends, such as technological breakthroughs, regulatory shifts, or demographic trends. Third, evaluate how these shifts alter future 5 forces equilibrium. Strategists who anticipate structural change can reposition their firms before profitability shifts occur. Once industry structure is understood, managers can execute positioning strategy. Positioning involves identifying a safe harbor within the industry landscape, where 5 forces are weakest and where the firm's distinctive resources offer maximum defense. Rather than competing in hyper-competitive, commoditized segments, positioned firms target premium niches, foster brand loyalty, and build customer switching costs to earn superior returns. Rather than passively accepting industry structure, visionary strategists pursue architectural advantage, a concept pioneered by Michael Jacobides. Architectural advantage means actively redesigning value chain architecture to capture industry profits. By creating and controlling scarce, non-substitutable bottlenecks, such as Apple controlling the App Store platform, or by commoditizing complementary layers, firms orchestrate ecosystems to funnel value toward themselves. Google's open sourcing of Android is a classic architectural move designed to dismantle rival mobile OS bottlenecks. Finally, to outperform rivals within an industry, managers must identify key success factors, or KSFs. KSFs are uncovered by asking 2 fundamental questions. What do customers want? And what must a firm do to survive competition? Additionally, strategists use profitability decomposition, breaking down DuPont return metrics into operational drivers like sales margin and asset turnover. To conclude today's lecture, remember Warren Buffett's insight: choose your industry wisely, defend your position with high entry barriers, orchestrate architectural bottlenecks, and master your key success factors. Thank you for watching SMMC LN3 with Professor Shihmin Lo. Stay strategic, and I will see you in the next lecture.